On September 13th, 2001, to show you the pattern of this government and to show you that this is not this president alone, we've just gone into hyperspeed. On September 13th, 2001, 2 days after 9/11, Prince Bandar bin Sultan had a private meeting with President Bush in Washington. Shortly thereafter, although all private flights were grounded, planes began to round up the Saudi nationals from various parts of the U.S. Within 1 week, 140 Saudis, including members of the bin Laden family, are flown out of this country, having never been interviewed or questioned by law enforcement. It is happening again. For 3 years, the White House and other federal agencies insisted that the flights never took place. The Bush administration would later block the investigation into the Saudi involvement in 9/11, even though 15 of the 19 hijackers were Saudis. They would eventually force the redaction of 28-page chapter of the 9/11 Commission report regarding foreign, specifically Saudi support for some of the al-Qaeda hijackers. The pages still have never been seen. According to the New York Times in 2003, Prince Saud, who met with Kerry and this president just last week, were dispatched to D.C. over concerns that classified sections of the congressional report on 9/11 would remain classified. This scenario is playing itself again. January 14th. This is very important that you understand. January 14th of this year, our president met with the Saudi Minister of Interior. 2 days later, Janet Napolitano signed an agreement with the Saudi minister allowing trusted traveler status on Saudi student visitors. What does that mean? That means if I'm going to school in Findlay, Ohio, I now appear to our system as a Canadian. If I am coming from Saudi Arabia, all I have to do is swipe my passport. They're not going to ask me. They don't have to take off my coat. They don't have to do anything. I'm a Canadian. I'm a Saudi. So you know, France and Germany do not have this. So you know, Israel is on the list, but no one in this administration will sign that document. This is trusted traveler status that we don't give to some of our most trusted allies, and we gave it to Saudi Arabia last January. So if somebody is going to Findlay, Ohio, and they're on a student visa, they just walk into our country, no questions asked. Here are some questions that need to be asked by the media. Where is the Saudi kid who was in the hospital? Is he in the country right now? If so, where? The person you say is the real kid that's being deported, where is he? What is he being deported for? Why was there a 3B terrorist activity filed on the Saudi national in the hospital? Who was the person who decided that a person with that name was subject to a 3B? Why was the file altered on the 17th? What and who found the information that changed the status from a 3B? Why did the FBI confirm that the person in the hospital was the same person the file was created on? Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, yes. I'm sorry. We have the information. Why are we deporting anyone from the city of Boston while still at the crime scene? What mosque did the Saudi kid attend? Oh, the one that is the Muslim Brotherhood mosque. What mosque did the two brothers attend? Oh, the Muslim Brotherhood mosque. For all the media members who reported an arrest had happened, and they got it all from their personal sources that they trust, did they follow up and ask why that person of color was gone and why all the misinformation and why they got that story wrong and why there was a bomb threat that distracted everyone to get them away from the police and the courthouse? Why was the Saudi national on an F-1 visa to study in Findlay, Ohio? And why didn't anybody check if he had actually made it to Findlay, Ohio? Why was he in Boston? Who altered the file on the Saudi national? Why is Fox News Radio the only one that's really giving us any of this information? Why is a U.S. citizen, the Chechnya bombers, a U.S. citizen, not read his Miranda rights due to public safety concerns, which means that can only be invoked if something is imminent and they believe more people are involved. And yet this Saudi with a 2123B is allowed to get on to a plane. This government has been in bed with the Saudis for a long time. We will give you more information on that as the days continue. But in Libya, we covertly helped the Muslim Brotherhood, the radicals. Ambassador Stevens became the official liaison to the Libyan opposition, later linked to Al-Qaeda and the Muslim Brotherhood. We then began running guns to Syrian rebels, which is the Muslim Brotherhood, through Turkey. Last December, in something that the media just refuses to look at, the vice president of CARE here in Dallas, Texas, and his little sweet school teacher of a wife left here to go to Turkey. The next month, he became the head of the Muslim Brotherhood rebels in Syria, the organization we have been running guns to in Syria. This is a freedom-fighting organization if you happen to be with the Muslim Brotherhood. I would describe it as a terrorist organization. Why is that not of interest to anyone in America? In Egypt, we funded the Muslim Brotherhood labor unions, and nobody really cares about it. The labor unions were the same people that took to the streets and kicked off the revolution. Hillary Clinton basically admitted to this in an online interview. Clinton's response was, quote, "Well, as many people know, the United States supports a civil society inside of Egypt." Quote, "We gave grants to that the government did not like, supporting labor union organization, supporting organizing on behalf of political opposition to the regime." That goes back many years. We're not at war with terrorism, because terrorism doesn't exist. What we are at war with is Al-Qaeda. And hear me clearly, any other group that Saudi Arabia cannot control. Saudi Arabia is the number one funder in the world for the Muslim Brotherhood. Abdul Rahman Ali al-Harbi. His clan is heavy with Al-Qaeda links. He came here to this country under a student visa. He could be around a lot of easily corruptible youth. You see, what Al-Qaeda used to do, they can't do anymore. They used to train them and send them in over here. But if you're from Yemen, you're under scrutiny. But if you're from Saudi Arabia, you no longer have that scrutiny. So you can come over here when somebody will send some youths over to our country for any reason whatsoever. And then the Saudis are there to welcome them. I believe this man in the hospital, his mission was to recruit fighters that are already in the country. That way they can't be tracked crossing international borders. Once he recruits, then he could fund and provide the go order when the time came. These two that were captured and killed on Friday would have been easy targets for an Al-Qaeda recruiter. Hailing from Chechnya, being Muslims themselves, they would have been sympathetic. During the first Chechnyan War, Al-Qaeda set up several training camps in 1994. They were funded, what a surprise, by charities run by Saudi Arabia. The Al-Qaeda links are too much to ignore here. Al-Harbi would have jumped at it. Someone needs to find the connection between these three. I would start maybe with the mosques and the social media connections and the hangout spots, but I don't expect anybody outside of our audience and bloggers who want to tell the truth to actually take the time. May I suggest, before absolutely everything is wiped clean, if it isn't already, that we start looking at social media connections, their hangout spots, and find the connections between these three. What are the odds that a guy who has a 2123B just happens to be at the finish line of the Boston Marathon cheering for his favorite Kenyan runner? And so excited. And then he was trying so hard to keep himself clean, and boom, the bomb goes off. What an odd thing. And I can see why Janet Napolitano and this administration would have a hard time explaining it.